is nScreenNoise. My name is Colin Dixon, founder and chief analyst at nScreen Media, and today is August 19th, 2020. Much has been written about how premium VOD is shaking up the movie industry, but most of that attention has been lavished on big Hollywood studios and their titles like Scoob and Trolls World Tour. In this interview, we look at how smaller filmmakers are dealing with the issue. CEO of Area 23A, Kurt Eftekar, walks us through how the company's hit movie, Fantastic Fungi, was able to pivot from the disaster of a cancelled 500 theatre event in March 2020 to a successful digital delivery strategy. The interview was recorded as part of the OTTX Wednesday webinar series. The webcast was entitled "Will Skip Theatricals Be the New Norm for Independent Movie Makers?" and it was broadcast live today, August 19th, and was produced by Bitmax. Kurt, welcome. Tell us, first of all, why don't you tell us just a little bit about Area 23A?
Sure. We're an event-based distribution company. We've been around about 10 years. And event-based is we do added value cinema. So we do traditional theatrical, but we do a lot of events. So it's a hybrid model. And so we've released films going back to like Revenge of the Electric Car, Glenn Campbell, I'll Be Me, Heel, and then recently Fantastic Fungi. So we really collaborate with filmmakers. So it's really a partnership. It's not like we're taking over a film. We really work in sync with filmmakers because they know their films best. They've lived with these films, you know, especially with documentaries, 5 years to 10 years, right? In terms of the journey of a film. So we really use our expertise. We tap into kind of their goals of what they're trying to achieve, and we bring them to the highest level. So, and we work with filmmakers from all over the world. So it's not, you know, from India to Kalamazoo, Michigan to LA. There's a full range of filmmakers that we work with. And that's what makes it really interesting because there's a lot of cultural differences, a lot of, you know, but it's the common language of film.
So why don't we talk about Fantastic Fungi? Because this is a particularly interesting model situation, right? Because Fantastic Fungi was actually released before theatre closures. So can you talk us through how it was doing there and what you were doing in the lead up to where those theatres started to close?
Yeah, I mean, the film's been really an odyssey. We started the release. I partnered with Moving Art, which is director Louis Schwartzberg's company. And we started in October 2019. And we had a phenomenal run. It became one of the top documentaries of the past 6-7 months. It did about $2.5 million at the box office and really became one of those films that was a word of mouth film. So in other words, without getting into all of the details, because we'd be here for a long time, but it became one of those feel-good movies where it was an enigma. People were like, what's this film about fungi? What's this film about mushrooms? And so all of the press, the kind of grassroots marketing, everything kind of came together where theaters were, you know, really getting the feedback from community saying, this is a film we love. We want more and more people to see it because it has such a positive message. So that journey through to about the COVID time, we were just about to do a Fantastic Fungi Day, which was a 500 theater global event. And literally we saw country by country as the COVID.
Oh my goodness.
We had to basically cancel territory by territory. And the crazy thing is each country said, no, that's not going to happen to us. And the last country obviously was like New Zealand saying, okay, well, we're going to have to close too. So similar to my colleagues on this call, we basically pivoted into the virtual world because we felt that it was time to offer the film as a way of, because the film's main theme is about interconnecting. It's about networking. It's about bringing people together, learning to live like mycelium network underground. Is basically what the above ground world can learn about. So we offered the film, we did we essentially copied our theatrical release. We brought people together through high added value events online. So we would bring together top speakers, we would have music performances, we would really bring thought leaders together through these different types of days. So Fantastic Fungi Day went from the theatrical world, we unified and brought everyone together in the virtual world. And so we then shifted into our own Vimeo, basically VOD release, where through our website we offered the films to the community. And it really just was a gratifying experience, because not only individuals could purchase the film, but also virtual cinemas participated as well. So it wasn't your standard virtual release. It was kind of a hybrid. So we had like individual purchases, and then we also had theaters participating, offering their film to their communities because they already had experienced the film in the traditional theatrical world.
Very good. So can you talk a little bit about how you were actually able to reach out to those communities and tell them about the digital events?
Yeah, I mean, well, the director, Louis Schwartzberg, spent 13 years making this film. So
Wow.
Yeah, that was, unbelievable. Just a painstaking process of raising money, building community, finishing the film through on the technology side. So there was pre-built communities that from the mycology world that had been following this film. So our collective team, we built out different types of audience groups, whether it's from the psychedelic side, the permaculture side, from the environmental side. The film has an incredible message that a lot of people share. And so again, through strong word of mouth, as people from these different, we call pillars, these different audiences heard about the film, more and more of them wanted to see the film. And so it got to a tipping point where we already knew we had that word of mouth. The transition into the digital world was already there. So it wasn't just, let's start right from scratch in the digital world. We had, a really big audience.
So you actually found some continuity between the way you were doing marketing in the theaters and into the digital world. There was some continuity there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the one thing I can say, and I think the way my brain operates too, is I would say three things. One is, I think the theaters are obviously, for all distributors, are our number one priority. We want the theaters, just like us, just as distributors, we all need to survive. And so, but we have to put a lot of hard marketing into it. Just because we're closed, just because the business has stopped the way we know it, doesn't mean our brain stopped. So we have to be very creative in the way we think and reaching out to niche audiences. So we really have to know how to connect with them, both in the digital space. And the theaters also, I think, can learn from distributors as well in terms of how to market to their community. So it's not just sending out an email blast. It really is more than that. It's creating some really innovative ways. So I do a lot of live cinema, like literally it's live cinema. So it's not just a film that is, hey, you can rent this anytime you want. It's a live event. So you're watching the film together, you're watching the Q&A together. It's immersive, participatory cinema. And I think that has really done well. And obviously piracy is something that you have to watch out for. So you have to have your DRM encoded on the film so that can protect the film. And so, again, it's like, there's no set rules like the previous panelists were talking about. It's a really kind of wild, wild west, but it's fun in a lot of ways because you see what works and what doesn't. And screenings we've had screenings where 50 people showed up, and then we've had screenings where 2,000 people showed up. So it just really depends on the project.
Kurt's experience with Fantastic Fungi illustrates that filmmakers can continue to prosper in this COVID-19 theatreless world, but that doesn't have to exclude the theatres completely. His hybrid model, which combines the direct-to-consumer approach with a theatre partnership that helps support them in maintaining a healthy independent movie community. I hope you enjoyed this discussion with Kurt Eftekar of Area 23A. You can see the entire session from which this was taken by going to the OTTX channel on YouTube and looking for Will Skipped Theatricals Be the New Norm for Independent Movie Makers? And I'll be releasing a couple more of the interviews from that session through my channel here. And my thanks to Bitmax for producing the session. And this video. We'll see you again next time.